Good Wednesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center on a final week to serve East Tennessee. It's emotional for me as well, but I am happy to have had the opportunity to serve you in all this time. I want to show you what we're talking about as far as Madlock because they're my sponsor for this live stream. Did you know if you need an oil change, they're the place to go here locally? East Tennessee's #1 tire service and auto repair since 1953. That's 72 years. You mean they've been doing it that long? It's multi-generational. Yes, they have been doing it that long. You'll want to definitely check them out, and they're in 5 convenient locations. You can find them in Knoxville, which is Farragut, Kingston Pike, Maryville, Lenoir City, Athens, and Hardin Valley. Check them out. This is what one of their locations look like, Lenoir City, and they've got their Tennessee flags there and the U.S. flag. But check out Madlock Tire Service, madlocktireservice.com. You can actually, we're going to look at their awesome website here in just a moment. But I got to show you this. What is interesting to see is what we're seeing in terms of the rain situation. Flood watch will last until 7 o'clock, not this morning. No, it's like 24 hours from now. So flooding possible, particularly for rivers, creeks, streams, and low-lying areas for all the areas you see there in green. So that's one thing you need to take note of. You can find maybe some standing water. You may not even have had that much rain so far, but there's more on the way, and that's why the anticipation is that this is going to get kind of sloppy over the next 24 hours or so. And by tomorrow morning at this time, it should start to pull away. Flood watch in effect till 7. No lightning strikes. The mix is still taking place in pink in the higher elevations. So if you were traveling, let's say, to North Carolina or even Virginia, you may be encountering some sleet or even some freezing rain. That's also a possibility. But as I go back to the bigger picture, you can see there's like a pipeline from Huntsville, Tupelo, aiming in this direction and headed in this particular way. I want to say good morning to you again. If you're just joining us, I'm going to have an announcement at the end of this live stream about the future of the Captain Accurate Weather app. So I hope you'll stay with me. If you're live, if you're watching it on delay, you can kind of just fast forward if that's what you're interested in. But stay with me. I've got a big announcement about the future of the Captain Accurate Weather app with Pete Michaels Traffic. You'll want to make sure you see that or hear that before the day is through. Let me go back to the radars. You can see that very active weather in Georgia. It's extending back to Alabama as well as Mississippi, so we're not alone in this journey that is the rainy start to mid-February, because today is what, the 12th? Today's February 12th, and it's all rain in the expectation anyway for the Knoxville area, while snow might be occurring around us. It is currently 39 in Johnson City, 42 in Knoxville, and 43 degrees in Chattanooga. If you've got a comment, you got a question, let me know. I'd love to say good morning to you. I see Darcy, she's quick here too to leave a comment. She said a happy Wednesday and drive safely out there. Lots of roads already flooded. So there you have it. I mean, you're going to have some roads that are going to have some standing water. It's only going to get worse with more on the way. Karen Robbins says, good morning, David. It's 42 on the plateau. 98% humidity, she says. And wishing y'all a good Wednesday. Stay safe and drive safely. Fred is also on here. He's got 43 in Blount County, 43 degrees in Maryville. Thank you, Fred, for being there. I appreciate everybody's support. And Lana Johnson making sure that everyone has her virtual cups of coffee. Have a safe day with her heart there with Valentine's Day around the corner. Thank you, Lana. Now, with temperatures at the 42, it's kind of interesting because that's kind of where we were last night when I did my video at 8 o'clock. It's 42 at 8 o'clock, 42 now. We didn't move much. And tonight, it's going to be kind of one of those weird nights where either it rises sharply and then falls back down to where it started. It's going to be one of those situations with an approaching front. Temperatures are more inclined to rise overnight before it starts to go back and settle into the 40s. But that's what you're seeing with the southwest winds. In fact, what is it? Birmingham has temperatures in the low 50s, while they're in the low 30s in Jackson, Kentucky, for example. But here's another look at our current readings. 41 Morristown, 41 in Newport. We're currently 43 in Crossville. Fairly uniform. Most everyone's in the low 40s. I see one exception there might be Greenville. They're at 39 officially at 6 o'clock this morning. It's now 6:45. I can keep moving because we've got a lot of ground to cover. Wind speeds are not moving much, nor do I expect them to. I expect winds today 0 to 5. Well, that seems pretty, I mean, with the exception of Oneida, most everybody is between 0 and 5 miles an hour. Right now, I don't expect that to change during the course of your Wednesday. Wind chills may feel like a little bit colder, in quotation marks, feels like 39 in Wartburg and Crossville at the moment. But again, these winds are relatively light. As we transition into the wind gusts, there's some gusty winds maybe in the Smokies, but nothing that they haven't seen. It's the fog that might be something that's greeting you this morning. As you head into work, I see that white patch over south sections of Morgan County around Wartburg. You might find some dense fog in some areas, so be mindful of that, in addition to some standing water that may be developing. So let me get to the forecast. Here's what I expect today. Yesterday morning, I expected, are you ready for this? 43. We hit 43. Today, I expect 53, and some areas might be a little milder, like higher hilltops in Campbell County could hit 55, 09 to 55, but there could be some upper 50s in Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, even Tellico Plains later today. Got a couple of notes to share with you because you know I'm a note taker. By the way, interesting to note, yesterday we did hit 43. And we did that as late as 6 o'clock in the evening. We hit 37 for the low at 8:09 in the morning based on Big E. Tyson's numbers and records. Peak gust was 22. The record low goes back to William McKinley era, 1 degree in 1899. That is still on the books from the National Weather Service. And then we hit 77 for a record high of this day in 2017, back when Trump was in his first term. But William McKinley, when it's 1, you think that's pretty extreme, but nothing what we've been seeing in Bismarck, North Dakota over the last 24 hours. They've been like negative 20. And some of the colder air that's there may try and work its way down here. So that gives you an idea. Oh, and by the way, we did pick up for this entire event so far, Knoxville through 6 o'clock, I did the numbers, 1.22. 1 inch, 1.22 inches has fallen at McGee Tyson since this event began. Now, I know there was a lot of hubbubaloo that we were going to get more than 6 inches. I heard 7, I heard 8. I said, no, 4.5 to 6, I think is the sweet spot. We've already had 1.25 inches. We're going to pick up more today and more tonight. So be prepared. And if we get some thunder, I think that chance is tonight. Best chance for rumbles will come in on your Wednesday night and early Thursday morning. So there's my expectation, 53 if you're in Oak Ridge, about 51 degrees. The sunrise, sunset time now on your screen. 7:26, goes to bed at 6:15, and you'll notice that we still have quite a bit of activity here at this particular time. Rainfall, still going to be an issue for school bus drivers, so be extra careful, as you always are, I imagine, through the school zones, but they're going to continue on that path for sure. Let me check one other feature as I want to go back to the radar. This is going to give us at least a bird's eye view. The rain situation that's now developing across the state is kind of concentrated on the east half. West Tennessee doesn't have this problem anymore. Seems like it's moving and fire hosing toward Newfound Gap and headed up toward Roanoke. So that's what we see here, where there's been a lot of icing in the last 24 hours. It's in the Roanoke area and moving further into the Richmond area where there's more freezing rain and sleet. So if you're traveling in those areas, something to be mindful. They're under winter storm warnings because of the combination of both rain, snow, and sleet. It's been a mess for the last 24 hours. More snow across the Midwest. I see it snowing in Iowa, parts of Missouri, and all those purple shaded counties represent winter weather advisories. So they're bracing for more wintry weather that could include some freezing rain and sleet. Very soggy to the south from basically Louisiana all the way up into the Carolinas if you're traveling today. So that's the big picture. Let me check in with your comments if you have another note. Felicia says, happy Wednesday. Knox County kiddos go to school a half day today. There you go. Stay safe on the roads. It's good to know that. I'm very appreciative of you in that update. Wanda Poe, who is on Team Snow, says be something if it was nice, if it were snow. She said it'd be nice if we had some snow like that. Some would prefer that. I know that she is one of those in Team Snow's category. Carrie Aguilar says good morning. So thankful for the rain. Everyone have a fantabulous day. Be safe. We will be getting, Carrie, a new drought monitor from NOAA. Their weekly report comes out at 8:30 every Thursday morning. So tomorrow morning, we'll be watching to see how that plays out. And I am also on YouTube. Steve Stone has got his smiley face and his sunshine, although I don't know how much sunshine we'll get out of this day. I don't expect any, but we'll see how coming back in on Valentine's Day. So that's where things are at the moment. Let me get to the nuts and bolts on the amounts. Again, this is starting off with the excessive rainfall. When we talk about this category, this is issued by the Weather Prediction Center, which is really just another division of NOAA where they focus on flash flooding. And where it's yellow would be scattered flash flooding, potentially, and where it's green, it would be isolated. But they put the best chance for flash flooding to occur today in the yellow areas from Gatlinburg to Happy Valley, just south of Madisonville, and definitely Tellico Plains. So if you're headed in these areas, you might find the rain getting worse and worse throughout the afternoon. So please be mindful. That's not to say if you're in Jefferson City, you don't have some flooding. It could be isolated. If you're in Knoxville, it could be isolated. But that's the expectation. I mentioned, was it 1.22? Because we had 0.99 inches of rain yesterday. We've had 0.23 today. That gives us a grand total of 1.22. But for the month, we're now at 2.32. So it's now 2 1/3 for the month of February. We're chipping away, and hopefully we'll get above average before the month is through. In fact, we've got more rain opportunities this weekend, which I'll dive into a little bit more in just a second. Here's a look at the future rainfall. As I mentioned, we've picked up 0.23 officially so far. And this suggests that we're in that category right through midday. But I will say this, once we hit 5 o'clock, there's clearly more rain in Tellico Plains than there is in Jamestown. There's clearly more rain in the Smokies, suggested there about Lacon, about 1.3, but compared to maybe, say, Oneida. So the heavier rains, at least today, will come up from the south, and that's why I think the Weather Prediction Center has placed that bigger concern for flooding in those areas well south of Interstate 40. By the time we hit 11 o'clock tomorrow night, things will have quieted down. Even sunshiny skies will dominate, at least mostly sunny on Valentine's Day. But then we start to reload and relock the situation into the picture, so we have more rain on the weekend. And most of it, I think, is going to head up toward Kentucky. So if you have the grand total, let's see if we take this through the period, through Sunday night. We'll stop it here. This shows about 3 inches more. We've already had 1.25 inches. So if we get 1 inch, that's 4. That's going to be keeping with the 4.5 to maybe as much as 6 isolated before it's all said and done. So again, it's all about the fact that some of these events are far out, and they will be enough to cause some flooding. There's no doubt about that. Now, the safety tip that you've heard probably since you were a kid, turn around, don't drown. And sometimes the kids are more mindful of this than the parents because you're in a hurry oftentimes. I am. And sometimes I don't think, well, I could drive through that. It's just a puddle. But if the roads aren't even seen, it's best to turn around, don't drown. 6 inches of water, moving water, can sweep you off your feet. 18 inches can sweep a large vehicle off the road. So it's best to turn around like this red car is doing, as it's demonstrating. Just turn around and find another route. It's better to be safe because then you put yourself in danger as well as any first responders that have to come rescue you in that strange event. More rain, flooding possible today. I can tell you early rain moves east on Thursday, and then we've got early highs tomorrow in the low to mid 50s before the sun comes up. But I would urge you to dress for the 40s. Does that make sense? We got low to mid 50s before 6 a.m. and then dress for the 40s because that's where we're going to settle for tomorrow. And then last but not least, bright sunshine with love in the air. I imagine some chocolate and roses too, but love is going to be in the air on Friday. Something we'll be watching that very, very closely. So very thankful for all of you for your watching. I also want to mention to you Madlock Tire. If you haven't heard about Madlock Tire, you've probably been here your whole life. Maybe you haven't used them. If you need an oil change, I can show you a very easy way to get that on the schedule. They're in Knoxville, they're in Maryville, they're in Lenoir City, they're also in Athens, and you can find them in Hardin Valley as well. What I love about the fact is they're so convenient. This is what's so nice about their website. As I come back on camera, I want to show you that the cool thing, as I come back on camera, their website looks like this. Okay, you got your local choice for new tires and repairs, but in the upper right corner, way up here, it says schedule your auto service because your life is busy. Mine is busy. You just tap on the auto service schedule. What will pop up is you can request your service time. Now, I'm closer to the Lenoir City location, so it kind of defaults that, but you put in your year, your make, your model, and you may have certain services that you're in need of, like brake service. Maybe you need a whole new set of tires. That's the top of the list. Battery services, they do that too. Maintenance services and fluids. Inspection services. Maybe you need attention to your belts and hoses. AC and heating concerns, they've got that fixed for you. Engine diagnostics, steering and suspension. You've got it all with Madlock Tire. And if you haven't discovered it, I hope you'll do so because they are a great sponsor for Captain Accurate Weather. They've been a big supporter, and I love the fact that they've got such convenience with their website. So just again, remind you where they're located. The addresses and phone numbers are on the screen right there. I love it, and we're going to get back to the weather, but I'm thankful for Joe Madlock and the entire Madlock team because they work tirelessly, to make sure that you have strong tires. Speaking of tires, oh, that was a good segue. Hydroplaning. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of tire you have on your car. If you're driving fast in standing water, you're going to lose traction, and it's very important that you slow down. I'm preaching to the choir. Chances are, if you're watching me right now, you're not the ones driving super fast when it's raining hard. But when you lose contact, when the tread or the traction of your tire, the faster you go, the more problems you're going to have in what's called hydroplaning. Sometimes it's called aquaplaning. But that's what it looks like, and you can actually skid like you're on a water ski, as you can see illustrated on the right. Dry roads, it's okay, but oftentimes you start to slide and you can end up having an accident when you don't want to have an accident. So again, Madlock Tire to get the best tires on your car. If you thought February was going to finish in the same manner that it started, think again. Because yesterday's high was only 43. We had our first below average day for the month. But if you compare and contrast that to the week before, I mean, what, with 30 degrees? It was 30 degrees warmer on the 4th, and we had a record high. So something's changing. There's a pattern change coming. Hope you're ready. Hope you're ready. It's obviously a lot to take into there, but that's what we're talking about as far as the colder air, and there's a lot of it to be found, especially north and west. I'm looking at those purple areas. Look at that. It's negative 20 again in Bismarck. I can't make this up. That's the actual temperature. How many of you have ever pumped gas when it's negative 20 actual temperature? I have not. I have not been in that type of extreme cold, and that's extreme by even Bismarck standards. So if you're liking the real cold air, there are places you can travel. It feels like negative 35, like it did this time yesterday morning, negative 13 in Caribou. But if just a sliver of that purple tries to make its way down to Knoxville in the next 7 days, wouldn't you want to know about it? It's going to be changing in a big way after Valentine's Day, because you can see the clock and the timestamp in the upper left. Some of that purple areas move up toward West Virginia, or move down to West Virginia and Maryland, and then it wants to make another pass as we head into President's Day. So the cold air is not going to be disappearing, and eventually some of you are going to be shocked about how cold it gets across parts of East Tennessee, and that means snow will be a possibility. It's going to be really cold compared to where we've been this month. Temperatures today about 53. It's now 6:58. I got a lot of ground to cover. Plus, I'm going to talk about the future of my app in a moment. Periods of rain, downpours, and patchy fog. Flooding will be possible. 100% chance that you get wet today. I have a 40% chance early tomorrow. Nothing on Valentine's Day. It's mostly sunny. But then the rain on Saturday, I lowered it to 60% on purpose, because I think most of it's going to be in southeast Kentucky. It's going to arch from Nashville to about Fentress County and head up towards, say, Bell County. Most of the rain on Saturday, I think, is going to bypass Knoxville. It's not to say we're going to get some showers, but it's not 100% my view. I think it's more like 60. And temperatures should rise into the low to mid 60s, about 63 for a high on Saturday. But the rain comes back a little more strongly on Sunday. Here's the Storm Prediction Center. When we talk about scattered severe storms, there will be some hot spots today. I'm looking at Destin, I'm looking at Mobile, Montgomery, Jackson, where you have scattered severe storms. But for us, thunder will be a problem or an issue or maybe even a possibility, especially tonight once the front begins to approach. Looking ahead to Thursday, the risk for isolated severe storms will persist in Panama City, in Tallahassee, and into parts of Georgia, Alabama. Nothing to see here in terms of thunder, some early showers perhaps. But by the time we hit Friday, which is Valentine's Day, it's Friday night, Saturday morning, some thunder may be reintroduced to Nashville. Some thunder may be reintroduced to Memphis and maybe the Plateau. But I don't think that's a Friday day issue. That's a Friday night issue, because these outlooks carry into about 7 a.m. the following morning. Here's another look at all this rain. It's trying to pour in like so. It's a very soggy situation with the warm front to our south. Once we move into tonight, that's why our temperatures rise. The warm front lifts. It's now over Rogersville at 5 p.m. today, and then you can see more rain coming in and then dropping quickly once the cold front passes at 2 in the morning or so. But rain will be part of the equation, at least early tomorrow, before we start to see some clearing skies Thursday night and into Friday. I think Friday will actually be pretty nice, mostly sunny with some clouds here or there. So that's the picture for your Friday. Saturday, the heavier rains look like they're heading to Cincinnati. And I think you can see that up there at the top of my map here. Some of the heavier rains on Saturday will bypass us as they head towards Cincinnati. We'll get some rain, but I don't think it'll be nearly as wet as was first anticipated. It will fill in, though, on Sunday. So here's our forecast. It's now 7 o'clock. 53. Periods of rain, downpours, and fog, winds 0 to 5. Today, high of 55 in La Follette, 55 for Newport, 53 for Knoxville, and 52 for Kingston. Today's highs, if you're traveling, will be near 60 for Huntsville and Nashville, about 63 for Tupelo, and only into the mid-50s, maybe some mid-50s in the Tri-Cities. Rain and downpours expected tonight. Temperatures will rise sharply and then fall sharply, all thanks to the cold front. But the fog may still be an issue, and winds will pick up 3 to 8 plus. Tonight, we're down to 46 for Knoxville, 45 for Morristown, and 46 degrees for Greenville. But they're in the mid-30s tonight in Crossville as the colder air begins to wrap around. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville and East Tennessee. Rain heavy at times today. Early rain moves east on Thursday, and then 50 on Friday, 63 on Saturday. But the coldest air looks like it's arriving on Monday morning. 59, another upside-down day Sunday, as we will start off in the upper 50s in the pre-dawn hours and likely finish into the upper teens by Monday morning. So a lot, obviously, to take in there. So let me get to any other follow-up questions that might have come in. Let's see. Felicia's saying, hey, not getting chocolate and flowers for Valentine's. We are doing a heart-shaped pizzas. She said maybe a lunch with no kiddos. There you go. So there's something exciting. You can always think of her outside of the box. You'll have some sunshine. That's nice, though. Marilyn Bell says travel safe, everyone. Lots of water on the roads. And I want to wish a happy good morning to Hallie Gibson, my snow commissioner. She says, happy Wednesday, only 2 more days. Well, that brings up a good point, Hallie. Yeah, it's been bittersweet. So I'm going to come back on camera here. It has been bittersweet to have had this journey for 6 years doing my own thing. But the thing is, I got someone sent me a direct message and said, hey, I found on the App Store, Google Play, I found this thing called a Barren Weather. And I looked, but they realized it didn't have me on it, right? So the only app that I will be promoting is my new employer, which is WTKR Weather. So I want you to make sure you download it, because some of you may vacation in North Carolina. That'll be part of my viewing area, the Outer Banks, as well as Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach. But I urge you to make sure you hold on to the Captain Accurate Weather app until the very end. And when is that? When will that be? My last day for Captain Accurate is this Valentine's Day. But the app will slowly disappear about a week later, on the 21st. So if you're using it now, I hope you'll do it. If you're using it next week, I hope you'll continue to use it. But by the time we get to Friday the 21st, the app will disappear. And my allegiance is already to WTKR. So people tell me, what app do you recommend? I said, the one that I'm going to be on. So WTKR, I got that on my phone already. I could show you what it looks like so you get a sense. But I am very excited about my new employer and very excited about the new beginning. Again, News 3, First Warning Weather. So be sure you can check that out. The other thing, tomorrow at this time, at the end of the live stream, I'm going to talk to you about the future of the name Captain Accurate. So I encourage you to tune in tomorrow. So I got some of the reveals. But as far as the app is concerned, the one with Pete Michaels, what we've been putting out for all these years, it will be disappearing. Like when you try to go to it, it won't work. And so that'll happen on the 21st of February. And then 3 days later, I'll start the new job in Norfolk on the 24th of February. So that's kind of the timeline. But I've been very honored to be able to serve you in that way, and I hope that the app's been helpful for you because now my experience, my transferable skills are going to a new position, and I'm very excited about that. When I'm there, that's all that I'm going to focus on. So I know the temptation will be, hey, what do you think about Knoxville? I won't be able to do that, and I wouldn't do that. That's it. I'm all in. I'm all in Norfolk. So once I go there, that's where I'll be. But I do appreciate your prayers, as I mentioned in the note. So hopefully that gives you some idea of what's going on, and I'll have more updates. I want to share with you some information about Captain Accurate and the name tomorrow at this time, tomorrow morning on the 13th. In the meantime, my name is David Aldridge. We'll see you here next time. Take care.